All right, so this is going to be your August 2022 real estate housing market update. We've seen the real estate market change quite a bit over the last couple months, so we're going to talk about all the newest stats over the last 30 days. We're going to get into the average sales price, how long the average home is taking to sell, how much new inventory we're seeing coming up on the market, and what we think is going to happen over the next few months. So let's go ahead and get into it. My name is Justin Short. I am a realtor and team leader for the Short Real Estate team here in Murrieta and Temecula, California. And we keep these videos coming for you guys once per week, giving you some different perspectives on what part of town you want to live in, what are the best neighborhoods out there, what are the best school districts, some of the best things to do in town, all that type of stuff. And our monthly staple video is this market update. So we're going to run through all the recent stats over the last 30 days here for the city of Temecula, city of Murrieta, and city of Menifee, California. We're going to talk about the new listings that we've seen come up on the market, how many active listings are out there, so how much inventory is available, how long the average home is taking to sell, and the average sales price. So we're going to get into all three of those stats. We're going to compare last year versus this year, hopefully be able to give you some trends, and then on top of that, just kind of give you our perspective as realtors and what we're seeing on a daily basis and what we think is going on with the market. So first, if you are liking the videos, please do me a favor. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Again, it helps me, it helps the channel. And I would definitely love to hear from you guys or answer any real estate questions that you might have. We have a lot of you guys that reach out to us each week, so you can feel free. You can call, you can text, you can email. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to answer any questions or, of course, help you with your move. So if you're thinking about making a move to the area or out of the area, definitely love to help in any way that we can. So let's go ahead and we'll get into the info here. So the first stat we're going to talk about is the total number of new listings. So this actually is your numbers for the month of July. So from July 1st to July 31st in 2022, and we're going to compare this year versus last year. So for the city of Temecula, last year in 2021, there was a total of 261 new listings that came up on the market. This year, 2020, there was only 196 new listings popping up on the market. So that's a total, it's a 65 less listings this year as opposed to last year. So you just see less inventory coming up on the market over the last 30 days. The city of Murrieta, last year we saw 315 new listings pop up on the market. This year we are seeing only 329 new listings pop up on the market. So that's 86 less listings this year compared to last year. So again, same trend. And then Menifee, city of Menifee, we actually see the opposite. So last year there was only 253 new listings hitting the market. This year there was 273. So we saw slightly more, about 20 more listings coming up on the market this year. But in general, for Temecula and Murrieta, we're seeing less inventory popping up on the market, which is really interesting as we get to the next stat, which talks about just available homes, where it was less new homes popping on the market, but more is actually more to choose from. So that's the next stat. That's active listings. So for the city of Temecula, last year at this time, there was a total of 283 active listings on the market. So that's available homes to choose from for a potential home buyer. This year, we're up to 370 available listings. So what I think is interesting about that is there's less new listings have come up on the market over the last 30 days, but there is an additional 87 homes to choose from. So what that means is homes are taking longer to sell, homes are sitting, homes that have been listed over the last few months haven't sold yet, and they're starting to sit, which gives more options for buyers and more leverage for buyers, really. So city of Murrieta, we've seen the same thing. Last year, there was a total of 324 listings to choose from. This year, there's up to 442 listings to choose from. So that's 78 more listings, more properties for sale this year as opposed to to last year. So that's another sign of a cooling market. City of Menifee, same thing. Last year, there's a total of 300 available listings that are active to choose from. This year, there's only 437, there's up to 437 available. So there's an additional 137 homes to choose from in Menifee. So all three cities, there's more available inventory, more to choose from, which again, it gives you another sign of just an overall slowing market. So we have two more stats we're going to go through. The next one, something that I think is super interesting, is the average days on market. So that's how long the average home is taking to sell, right? So last year, I think most people realize this, it was a super heavy seller's market, right? That was carried through for a couple of years there. So last year in the city of Temecula, the average home was selling in just 12 days. So that's less than 2 weeks. This year, the average home is up to 22 days. So which is just, I mean, it's just over 3 weeks, right? So that would still be considered a heavy seller's market. When the average home is selling in 3 weeks, that's a heavy seller's market. However, I will give a disclaimer here to this stat. This stat is like truly a lagging indicator. So this stat can only be based upon closed sales, right? So that means the homes that have sold over the last 30 days were listed for an average of 22 days. However, I think if we looked at those same stats for pending sales or closed sales in the next 30 days, that number is going to be significantly longer. In general, we are definitely seeing listings take longer to sell. I think most are actually closer to a month. It's what we're seeing on a daily basis. Most homes are taking about a month to sell, especially in more of an average price point. So next month, I'm really interested to see what that number looks like, because I think it's going to continue to stretch out, and continue to show a cooling and a calming market. So the next city we're going to talk about is Murrieta. So last year, same status to Temecula. Last year, the average home was selling in just 12 days. This year, we're up to 18 days. So again, just a slight increase. Same thing applies. I think you're going to start seeing that grow and grow. City of Menifee, last year, the average home was selling in 12 days as well. So the same all the way across the board. And then this year, we're up to 21 days, so up to 3 weeks. So again, I think another 30 days, another 60 days, you're going to see those average days on market increase pretty heavily. And again, it's a lagging indicator. That stat takes a while to catch up. So the next stat we're going to talk about is just average sales price. And I think this is really interesting to look at as we're looking at headlines for news articles, as we're seeing, in the media, as we're seeing, the news, TV, and all the everything that's out there, right? Everything that everyone's talking about the real estate market and how much it's changing, right? There's a lot of headlines that are out there that seem like a lot of doom and gloom. So when we look at average sales price, that is something that's really it's a card hold fact, right? And year over year, you're going to see that the pricing is still up significantly this year compared to last year. So what that means is over the last 12 months, we've still seen a lot of appreciation. If you bought a home last year, if you've owned a home in the last year, you've seen a ton of appreciation, and that home prices are still holding really strong. So city of Temecula, last year the average home sold for $755,000. This year, city of Temecula, the average home sold for $846,000. So that's almost a $90,000 swing up in increased value. So that's a ton of appreciation in 1 year. That is not the sign of like a dying real estate market at all. That is just that just shows you over the last 12 months there's been a lot of appreciation that's out there. So city of Murrieta, last year the average home was selling for $678,000, and this year it's up to $691,000. So that's only a $13,000 swing in 12 months. So it'll be interesting, and maybe there were some outliers that really throw that stat off. So we'll have to see next month how much that is really moving. But I would think that stat would be closer to an $80,000 swing. So I was surprised at how low that swing was there. So city of Menifee, last year the average home was selling for $491,000. This year, the average home is selling for $571,000. So it's an $80,000 swing again for the city of Menifee. That's get incredible appreciation in just 1 year, just 12 months. We've seen prices go up still so much over the last year, but I think it's pretty clear to see, with the more less inventory coming up on the market, but still more homes sitting, more homes available, and the average days on market, starting to stretch out, homes taking longer to sell. I think it's very clear that we're seeing a cooling market. We're seeing a market that's flatlining. We're seeing a market that's really turning from this incredible heavy seller's market. And I think it'll be really interesting over the next 4, 5, 6 months to see just how much we cool, right? Obviously, no one knows for sure. Most people are not expecting a true crash, a true major dip in real estate pricing, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. No one really knows that answer for sure. What I can tell you, what we are seeing on a daily basis. So as realtors and with our real estate team, we are seeing some really great opportunity for home buyers that really did not have any success or really were not able to buy a home over the last 24 months. Okay, so over the last 24 months, it was that super crazy, super competitive seller's market. So if you're a home buyer and you didn't have a ton of cash, or you had maybe a less than ideal situation to be able to buy a home, unfortunately, you were just kind of overlooked, right? If there's 10 offers on a home and many of them are putting down $100, $200, $300, $400, $500,000 or paying all cash, you as a first-time home buyer that saved up your 3.5%, earned your pre-approval, trying to get that American dream, and you have your $15,000 to put down in a home, unfortunately, you just really weren't able to get your offer accepted over the last couple of years, 99% of the time. So what we've seen over the last few weeks is this has been a great opportunity for a lot of those people that haven't been able to buy a home and have their offer accepted over the last couple of years. So that would be first-time home buyers, that would be VA home buyers that can come in with no money down and have that benefit from serving the military. That could be someone that is going to buy a home, but in order to buy that home, they have to sell another home. So that's someone that's a contingent buyer, right? Someone who's contingent on selling their previous property in order to buy the next. So that's super common. I've had a lot of people that they've just kind of been stuck because they own a home, they have a ton of equity, which is still there because pricing hasn't dipped yet, right? They have all that equity, but they couldn't unlock that equity to purchase the next one unless they sold this one, right? Well, then it's hard to, you have your family, you have your kids, you can't really sell that home and you have nowhere to live and then go buy another one. I mean, that's super uncomfortable, right? And it's so competitive, you don't even know if you get your offer accepted on the next home, right? So there's a ton of people out there that are contingent home buyers that have been stuck with that situation. So when the market cools like this, there's more opportunity, and there's also more opportunity to negotiate. So we're seeing a lot of buyers be able to get some closing cost credits, which means basically kind of a cash rebate from the seller towards their closing cost. We're seeing people get the pricing discounted. We're seeing people negotiate $5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand. I've had a client negotiate a price down 40 grand and $50,000 over the last month or so. And so we're seeing concessions there, and we're seeing buyers be able to dictate their terms a little bit more, dictate when closing times are going to be. So we're seeing that leverage change, where over the last couple of years, the seller has really had all of that leverage, right? Because there's so much demand. If you have 10 buyers and one seller, the seller has all the leverage. Now, as that market changes and the buyer has maybe 3 or 4 homes to choose from, that buyer is going to get a little bit more leverage. So overall, we're seeing the market cool. We're seeing it really normalize, and I think that's probably the best term that I've heard over the last couple months. Is we're seeing a normalized market starting to become more balanced. It's not this crazy bidding war. Buyers have a great opportunity. Sellers are still selling for great prices, and really just a normalized market. So if you have any questions about the market or anything we can do to help, again, please feel free to reach out. Again, like and subscribe, call, text, email. Love to hear from you guys, and hopefully you like the information, and talk to you soon. Thanks.